Welcome to the Smith Sisters Show. Today we're going to remember the impact of Hurricane Katrina. And I am Gwen Smith.
And I am Crystal Smith.
And on August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina became one of the most catastrophic natural disasters in the United States. We have two guests today, Pastor Wade Moody and his wife, Mrs. Shirley Moody, and they're going to tell you the name of the church, and we're going to go into the conversation.
Welcome, both of you.
Thank you for
Pastor, you can go
allowing us
first.
to be here. Yes, greetings. This is Pastor Wade Moody. I'm the senior pastor and founder, along with my wife, of Vida, Iglesia Vida, Assembly of God Church here in the city of Metairie. And, of course, with me, my beautiful wife.
Hello, thank you for inviting us.
Well, it's always great to have a woman on board since two females are here, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let's start our conversation. Let's start with Shirley. Mrs. Shirley, what were your initial thoughts and feelings as Hurricane Katrina approached New Orleans?
Well, like always, we always thought it was going to be like 2 or 3 days. So
Yes.
we have a small kid, so let's take your toys and your clothes. It's going to be like a little mini vacation. And of course, in the past years, that's how it was. It was only a few days, and then we'll be back home. So
Wow.
I didn't think it's going to be anything big.
Okay,
I don't think
Pastor,
any of us did.
I don't think we
Right.
did.
Right.
Pastor, what did you assemble together to move out?
Well, likewise, obviously, as always, we're keeping eyes on storms that are in the Gulf. And so this so-called Hurricane Katrina was forming. Originally, it was directed more towards Mississippi, so we thought we were going to dodge the bullet. Saturday morning was whenever I got the news showing up at a men's breakfast, and people are talking about evacuation. Evacuation, why? And they said, well, it turned, it's a Category 5, and it's heading
Yes.
directly for the mouth of Mississippi in our city. So at that point, we had 24 hours, really, to decide what we were going to do, us and our congregation. So we started contacting our leadership and prepare for evacuation, letting people know the danger, because many of our members were not aware of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you were not the only one that was aware of it. The day that it was coming, my sister
Right.
had to work at a hospital that's across from Turo, and the girl was supposed to come to work. She didn't come, and we got stuck here.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she called on the phone and she says, "Hey, Gwen, I'm on interstate. I'm out of here. Like, hold it down." And I was like, I can't believe she's doing this to me, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that was
it
okay. You know, I
Because
prayed
we
through
had
it.
one suitcase packed because we thought it was going to be like a 1 week
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
And some friends, we were going to go out of town with them, but when she didn't come to work, Gwen couldn't come back, and Gwen's job was approximately 3 blocks from our home. So she would walk back home, and then we would get in the car with our friends, and when they realized that we were not going to be on schedule, they left us. And I
Wow.
Understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody wanted to get out, their families, and be safe. But I know that there was a stress factor. So, Mrs. Shirley, what do you think? Did your family experience any kind of emotional stress as a result of Hurricane Katrina?
Yeah, I mean, my parents, they were like up in age,
Oh, wow.
and they were afraid.
Yeah.
Because
They knew what was happening.
Right, they knew what was happening because they're watching the news and they were
Mhm.
scared. So we took our parents, my mom and dad, with us, and it was kind of stressful, especially for them.
Yeah.
And you said you had little kids at that time?
I had 2 small kids. Yeah.
What ages?
How old were
That was
they?
20 years ago.
Yeah, about-
So
yeah.
I mean, at
They
that
were-
time, how old were they?
I think around.
one was about 12, the other one was about 20.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was the 12-year-old. He won't remember much, I don't think, or
I don't
she.
think
Mhm.
Should not
Yeah,
remember.
he remembers it pretty well.
He remembers?
does?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
When are we
He's told me
talking
so.
about how you marshaled the your team to help boots on the ground to help your the people of your church?
Yeah, well, exactly what Shirley was saying. We evacuated. With our many of our family members and many of our congregation. They had nowhere to go. They don't have family here, so we we had contacted our denomination, Assembly of God. They have a campground in Alexandria.
Okay.
So on the next morning, we said, okay, let's all meet in Kenner, and at 4 in the morning, we're going to take off. The next morning, we had 85 people. So it wasn't
Jesus.
just us and our kids and in-laws. We had 85 people. We had like 30 some vehicles
Okay.
to do a caravan, and it wasn't only our church, but other churches found out that we were evacuating and said, hey, we don't have anywhere to go. So we ended up about 3 other churches joining us to go to the campground. So when you're talking about the stress level and the
Right.
demand on top of our family, we had to oversee our congregation that was with us and 3 other congregations going to a campground. At that point, it wasn't a terribly stressful thing, except the terrible traffic, because it took
Yes.
over,
traffic was
over
really
15
bad.
hours
Oh,
for
Yes.
us to get
Wow.
to a place that normally takes 3-4 hours
Jesus.
because it's bumper to bumper.
Yes.
However, in our minds, we're thinking we're going to be gone a few days. I remember our kids, when they're small, we didn't want to put a lot of pressure on them about hurricanes and the
That is
danger.
true.
Correct.
They thought it was going to be, they
Oh,
love
yeah.
hurricanes whenever you retreat.
Are you
Yes.
serious?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we go to a cool place and they get to hang out and
No
have fun for
school.
3 days, no school
Oh.
and no homework. So up until Katrina, after Katrina, they never said that again. They realized that no.
Okay, Pastor, when you came back, what was it like assisting people and helping people that you didn't think you'd have to come back and continue working? You never
That's
got off
true.
the clock.
Right.
Yes. So we're up in the campground. We had this little 5-inch black and white TV that was our only source of information. And so the next morning after Katrina passed, the news, as you remember, oh, we dodged a bullet, everything's great.
Right.
Some brick wall fell down in the French Quarter. Besides that, we're fine. So we're
Mhm.
yay, everybody, okay.
Mhm.
Well, tomorrow we'll pack and go back home. And then a few hours later, of course, the news, the levees are failing,
Yes.
the water's coming in.
Correct.
So it was such a roller coaster. And at that point, they said, well, nobody's coming back in the city. They're blocking off the city.
Yes, they did.
That is true.
So it took about 10 days before we started getting the phone calls with our denomination, our church, if there's any way we can get back in the city, because they had trucks on the way. There was some ministries like Samaritan Purse with the
Correct.
Billy Graham organization. Assembly of God has Convoy of Hope organization. And there's many others, too many to name, but those were the 2 major big ones. And they say, we already have trucks wanting to get in. We need a place. And at that time, I was an associate pastor of a very large church right here on Airline.
Okay.
So we have a gym, we have a big parking lot, and we had to literally almost sneak in the city because they weren't letting people in.
And you were in the Kenner area?
My house was in the Kenner area,
Okay.
but the church was in Metairie.
Mm-hmm.
So I contacted an organization that was part of coming in the city, and they said, look, we're about to do a convoy. Just jump in the convoy. Whenever you go to the checkpoint, show them your ID, tell them you're coming in to help, and that's all we could do. If they tell you no, turn around. So we did. But we got in the city. We
Now,
I wanna
Gwen
ask-
and I were here for 7 days.
Yes.
Because
we
as
were.
I said, our friends left us because I didn't know it was that bad. She didn't know when the girl left because we were organized where we were going to be leaving at a certain time. We had one suitcase each, and we didn't expect it, but it happened. So we got stuck here, and it was the most frightening experience.
It was.
We had no police around.
Right.
The water rose, and we're thinking,
No
Oh
lights.
my
my gosh.
goodness. Yeah.
oh my God, I don't want to get in this water.
No.
But
we
it was-
didn't.
and we didn't.
We had to do or die. We had to walk in the water. It was
Oh,
very
God.
murky.
You don't know what's in there. Wow.
Correct.
Yeah.
We saw stuff floating, which I don't want to talk about right
Right.
now,
Thank you.
but it was crazy. But I want to ask you, how did you feel about your neighbors next door, meaning New Orleanians like myself?
Yeah.
And you heard that there were a lot of casualties.
Yes.
What did you feel, Miss Shirley? What did you feel about that? When
Oh
you
my
heard that
gosh.
people were drowning and dead, and
Well, it was unbelievable. Everybody was
Very good.
crying because we were like 3 hours away from the. I mean, with the area that we were was,
right,
and over there it was dry. so it was kind of like
Are you serious? It was dry
Yeah, it
in
was
your
in
area?
Where they had gone to.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Alexandria. In
Yeah.
Alexandria.
it wasn't raining at all over there. It's sunny, so we were just watching this through the little small little TV that they gave us,
Okay.
and it was devastating. It was kind of like unbelievable.
It
Because
was.
in the past, remember we just go for a few days and then come
Mhm.
back, but to to see all these things that were going on, people dying.
It was.
Yes.
It was really.
And
It,
Yeah.
my sister
Mhm.
and I, as you can see, we wear makeup, right? That day, we didn't think about bringing makeup,
nothing.
lipstick, nothing.
Nothing. I
Our
was like,
mind
I
was
need to
on
get out of
survival.
here.
We need to
Right,
live.
survival.
And our
Wow.
neighbors were like, "Hey, Gwen and Crystal, just take your personal things like birth certificates or your IDs, whatever."
Right.
They were like, "Forget the rest of the stuff,
Yes.
the material stuff,
Yes,
because it was
yes.
like we're not gonna leave, we're not gonna need it." And believe me, you guys remember how hot it was that
Yes,
day? It was
yes.
really tremendously
It
hot.
was
So you could
terrible.
imagine
Muggy.
around the sink around the Superdomes, people were dead and their
Yes.
bodies were just decomposing, and I hate to say it, this stench was putrefying
Yes. No,
'Cause you know-
Definitely.
because you have to bury people and what
Right.
have you, and it was just a tremendous effect on us to see that kind of thing. And I don't ever want to relive that again. Would you,
Yes.
Pastor
No,
Moody,
not at all.
Mrs.
And-
Moody?
You know,
Never
I'll
again.
tell you this event wasn't only a catastrophic event, economical event, and what it was. It changed many lives in many ways.
It did.
I know it was a paradigm for me and so many people I spoke to that they say, you know what, especially working in the ministry and the Lord, we need to do better. We need to
That is true.
we need to get in what we need to do, and this isn't a time to mess around. And it was so devastating. And I was just flashing back to that. I remember at that point, that's when I learned how to text message.
I
Okay.
understand. Old school, right?
Yes. I mean, only 20 years ago, we didn't really use text messaging.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And we surely didn't have social media.
No.
Right.
And the internet was very limited.
It was.
There was certain apps out there, but our phones were the little flip phones, and
Yeah.
you would have to
Yeah, I know.
send messages because we couldn't get
Yeah.
phone lines in.
Let's go to the spiritual deep part of this. What
Yeah.
what kind of atmosphere do you think Hurricane Katrina brought to our area?
Well, just like that famous story, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Yes.
Okay.
Because how could you say it was the best of times? Well, I'll get to that. But of course, the worst times, spent hours crying
Yes.
Wow.
and
But that was
praying.
good to release it.
And right,
Yes.
right, and then always going back and focusing. God has this. That
Yes.
night, of the devastation of the flood, we actually did a worship service, and
that's great.
the camp director walked into the chapel and heard us worshiping God, and he just started crying,
Yeah.
and he said, "You guys may have lost everything, your house, your congregation, your finance, all that, and yet what joy worshiping." And I said, that's where else. It's like Peter said, to whom else can we go?
Right.
We
That is
have nowhere
correct.
else to go.
That is correct.
And God is worthy whether things are good or not good.
Mhm.
So we worshiped him. And I remember we're singing "How Great Is Our God,"
Oh, wow.
and
wow.
that's where he just broke down and cried, and he said, "Look, I'm safe. My house is here, and you guys are such a testimony." So that was amazing. Now the best of times, to clarify that, we saw the best of many people too. 'Cause-
Really?
Yeah, because
Okay.
there was people coming out and helping each other.
Yes.
That's great.
Neighbors that maybe never really spoke to each
That
other.
is true. That's true.
People, hey, there's help down here. Hey, I got an extra case of water, and neighbors were helping neighbors. Obviously, a lot of people were waiting for the government, which were, eventually they
Be
came.
honest, they
Eventually.
never came.
They,
though.
They were
it was
extremely late by
yes,
the time
extremely
they got
late.
there.
But ministries, people from all over, I'll say the world,
Yes.
Okay.
but definitely all over the nation, were coming to our city, volunteering their time, their resources, and there'd be like we get a phone call. I have a whole school bus full of water and supplies and all that.
Wow.
The
That's
guy
a lot
comes,
of
he
help.
dropped off the school bus, and he donated the bus and everything in it.
That
This is
serious.
for you to use and all that. And we didn't know this guy. He didn't know us.
Yeah.
and he came from I don't know what other state
to get
out of
to
his
you
own
guys.
pocket to give us this. It was just amazing. So that in that aspect, it was the best of the time. Of course, we saw terrible things and
Yes.
looting
Absolutely.
and stuff, and there's a lot of
Absolutely.
fear.
But you guys, you didn't see the death toll that we saw?
Yes,
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 they
Oh,
saw it.
okay.
yes. Yeah. Well, to this day, I still. I know in the certain anniversaries when you're on I-10, they'll have all the like white crosses in the,
Yeah.
for each of the person that
I
died.
found that eerie. What do you think?
It is.
It
And
is.
then, of course, right then was whenever YouTube started blowing up and people started posting videos of
Yeah.
bodies floating in the water.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
It
know,
was.
and that
It
was
was.
such a hard impact. And, it could have been unnecessary if
I
it
believe.
would have been better prepared. When they showed all the buses that were just flooded because nobody bothered to use them to get people out of the city. Write your social security number on your arm because
Sure
that
did.
was
way we
frightening.
can
That was the
And you
identify
know,
your body.
We saw those Social Security
Yeah.
numbers on dead bodies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Getting out of here.
Yeah.
And, I tell friends, I said, well, what do you think it was like for you, Gwen? I said, it was like living in a Twilight Zone. Remember
Yeah.
Rod
Yeah.
Sterling?
Oh yeah.
I was like, and it really challenged me. And I cannot believe when we got to, my sister and I, we went to San Antonio. We were,
But prior to
We
that,
went there.
what the Reverend said,
hmm
there was some people in the area that
Yeah,
we
you
didn't
wanna
even
hear the-
socialize with, okay?
Yeah.
we're talking
They
hardcore.
changed
Yeah.
overnight, and they had to get, assisted senior citizens
Can you
Yeah.
who
believe
are not
this?
blood
I'm talking
related
about real
to
bad
higher
boys.
land.
Yeah.
They-
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
the
Yeah.
highest land
I
around
saw it.
us.
You saw
I
it.
met
See?
with them.
See?
Yes.
Yeah, and
So
people.
They
God
came
is
to get
in
food
us.
from us to bring it to their neighborhood,
Yeah.
He's
and,
correct.
and you can
Yes.
see these guys. They,
They had a
in another
different
time,
life.
At another
you would want
time.
to
Right.
meet them in an alley.
You
Yeah.
don't.
But
You're
I'll
correct.
I'll tell you what, their heart was in the right place
Yes.
at that time.
What do you think as a
They-
minister? I told people that they were like possessed with the Holy Spirit and angels. Do you agree?
Yes.
Because their whole personality and
Their
spiritual
spirit changed. the whole-
changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Katrina had like good and bad and ugly.
It did. I mean, we can't deny the bad things. There's a lot of bad things, the devastation,
Yes.
the people that died, the lack of preparedness of our government officials,
Mhm.
and people, looting and doing things. But even that, some of that was just out of the desperation. And,
I agree.
And,
I agree.
And,
I agree.
and
Because we had nothing. Because
Yes.
people brought you.
people,
Your
the
churches
death
brought you
toll would have
stuff.
been a lot higher if some people
right.
didn't go to those extreme measures. And I know our city gets criticized and all that about that, but there's a time when you got to do what you got to do,
hmm
and we're trying to save lives here.
We were.
And now whenever there's a disaster in here and other places, FEMA and everybody jumps in really quick because there's such great criticism towards FEMA that they didn't show up 2 weeks later.
You are correct,
And
sir.
they
You're
came with
absolutely correct.
with a notebook and a clipboard. They didn't come with anything else.
They did.
Correct.
Yeah. So
So God
people
is
really
alive.
had to do
He's
things.
alive and well.
Yes.
Because in a time like that, I'm telling you, I was like skeptical that these people were walking around, but these guys were walking around. I didn't see a lot of females, but guys walking around helping seniors get to drier land.
Right.
Correct.
There's a school that is a half a block from our house at that time, and there were seniors trying to make it with their little belongings on their back.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were, I'd say, the guys who were on the rough side of the mountain
Yeah.
helping them to
Yeah.
get to
True.
drier land. Some of them had to pick the older people
Can you
up.
believe
They were
that?
putting them in
Right.
like makeshift boats, and
Yes.
they were in the water with the needy and the children,
They
and,
were.
Right.
and everybody pushing them through the water
Yes.
and all.
But see,
what-
that's
You
the
know.
part of the story that, let's say, the media doesn't know
Hmm.
that we had ourselves, that those bad boys were helping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, walking through the water, picking up old ladies, the sick, bringing them water so they can get medicine, and helping them to get out of here. Because, as I said, no one wants to live through that again.
ever.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
ever.
no.
Yeah.
That was forever, and like now just bringing it up. I mean, it's in my mind as it was yesterday.
Absolutely.
The
It
images
It's in
is
all of
ours.
our
Yeah,
minds.
those for the rest of my life will never go away, and it's been 20 years already.
You're right.
I don't remember some of the other hurricanes and the other things. Of course, they
Correct.
weren't as devastating,
Correct.
but I can tell you probably every detail about those months after
We
Katrina.
really can.
Yeah.
Do you know that New Orleans is doing commemorative events around our city right now?
Yeah, I'm aware there's certain churches and stuff doing things, and I'm sure the city officials, being this the 20-year anniversary,
Correct.
they do, and I hear both sides. Some people say, "Oh, we need to just get over it," you know.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
I like that, Miss
I've heard
Shirley.
people,
Like
we
you
need
said,
to
let's
just
be
stop
human.
and
Yeah.
put it behind
Really?
us. And it's
You
like,
cannot
you
get
know,
over that.
you probably didn't lose a loved one. You probably didn't
Correct.
go through the trauma or feel the pain of other people. So maybe you are a little tired of it. But you know, we went through it. We lived it.
That is
and
correct.
like I say, I have wonderful, awesome memories of people helping.
Yes.
Angels
And
coming
it
in.
changed.
Angels
It
coming
changed
in,
our
yes.
culture. It changed our city.
You're right.
Even to this day, you hear people talk, "Oh, before Katrina or after Katrina."
That
Oh,
is
before
true.
Very
Katrina,
true.
this and this
Very
is.
true,
Well,
yes.
since Katrina, this and this and this. That's like a inflection point in our lives here.
That is
those
true.
that went through it,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the ministry of Victory Fellowship, where we were helping, like I said, for 4 or 5 years after that, we were still
Helping.
yeah, several hundred meals a day. We had anywhere from 400 to 1,000 volunteers.
Jeez.
God's hand was there because
That is correct.
Yes.
there was no power in the city, but then in the military reserve took over the Saints training community right next to the church,
Oh,
and they
okay.
turned the power on there, so we had power, we had water,
Okay.
and that allowed us to be able to help the community with that. So you know, God did some amazing
He
things.
did.
He did.
It is
And,
to our Father.
To
Our
this
Heavenly
day,
Father. Yes,
I
it is.
hear on the news people talk about the church is what saved our city during that time. of
That
need.
it did. The churches really did.
I remember.
And I'm gonna make this confession. I'm Catholic, and you guys know that. And believe it or not, my mother, who's deceased, she was Baptist. But
But later on, she became Catholic.
Yeah.
After we were in
yeah,
the church,
but
she was.
but the point of the story
Yes.
is that her Baptist religion really impacted me to the point where I became a Baptist minister in that house.
Amazing.
Knowing
Wow.
that God.
Knowing that, when you teach people, Pastor,
Yeah.
be still,
Yes.
and
I
the
was
faith
like,
in God,
be
believe in
still,
God.
storm, be still when
Yeah.
that wind was so strong, the house was shifting.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if your houses were shifting.
I don't know if they were there.
Yeah,
Uptown,
we
New
weren't there.
Orleans.
They
We
weren't
weren't
there.
Oh,
there,
okay, I'm
but-
sorry.
But
But
we heard the stories of people that
those
that
houses
did
were
stay,
shifting. It was strong, and you all didn't lose anybody during the storm.
thank God.
That's a
Thank God.
blessing.
That is a
we
blessing.
were so fortunate, and
And you had no funerals to do, did you?
we did many funerals
Oh,
Yes,
my
of,
Lord.
they would have.
our congregation and strangers. We had
Yes.
people coming up to our church, and they're really not a member of church, and they didn't know any other open church, and they said,
Right.
my aunt died, my cousin died, whatever, can you do a funeral? So I was going to people, I had no idea who they are.
Okay.
Some weren't even of the same faith, but it
Correct.
didn't matter.
It didn't
we
matter.
just wanted to be
But
there
there's
to
one
help
God,
and comfort.
And
Right.
that's where we all went to the time when there's one, we believe in one God, we respect Him, and I don't know where these guys got. These were some rough characters in our
Yeah.
neighborhood. I don't know. The Holy Spirit had to embody them
They did.
because we were like, we were frightened of them.
Yeah,
more
when
than
they were
the storm.
coming to us.
Seriously, because they were. I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Well, Shirley, when it was coming to us, do you guys need help? And I was like, oh my God, do I really?
Yeah.
Yes.
But thank
Those
God
are the ones
that
who carry-
They were
yeah.
rough because I guess other guys they're not like in the same character.
You
They
need
would
it.
be
Good
able to
point.
be
You
there
need
to
it. People
help.
are willing to
Yeah.
jump in that dirty water
They
and,
were,
and
and they did.
go into the
They did.
buildings and all. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
They
absolutely
did.
right, sure.
And
But we
believe
had our rosary beads around our neck, and we were doing the rosary beads the whole time.
we were.
And we were just praying over and over. And I used to see the nuns walking around Holy Ghost school with their
Catholic
beads on,
Elementary
all the
School,
time.
yes, uptown.
and they would be praying. They don't know, sister. I was you that day. That
We
whole
sure-
7 days, we
we
were
sure
just
were.
so.
Yeah.
We were out of our
We
body.
were. I think that we
body.
were
It was
out
an
of
out-of-body
ourselves.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
You
was.
guys agree?
Yes, a lot of people. because obviously when we were giving the food away, we had the big long trucks and cars waiting to get food. So we'd go and talk with people, and we would ask them, "How are you? Is there anything we can pray for you?" And a
Oh,
lot of
wow.
people, they had it so locked up that they would just. This is the first time anybody was concerned about me, because usually the person that came to get the food was bringing it back to help so many others, and they were that person that was like nonstop, the busybody person,
Yes,
and all.
yes.
And so we asked them, how are you? How
That
are
is
you
powerful.
doing? And they were like, thank you for asking, and obviously many times, oh, I'm fine, and we say, no, really, how are you?
That was
I'm
powerful.
I'm
I think
hurting.
all of us
Yeah.
were.
I'm grieving.
Yes,
We had people that they didn't even know where their family was.
it is true.
There was people that heard that their family member was in some street corner somewhere dead,
Yeah,
with a blanket over them because nobody could go and get it, and they were dealing with that's some pretty serious issues.
it was.
And yet with that, they were still out there helping people.
That is true. That is true. Because I'm a NOCA graduate, and I'm a vocalist by trade from
Oh,
NOCA.
wow.
And a friend of mine, an alumni, his father died, and he was also alumni. And he was like, Gwen, my father stayed in the house just to protect the stuff.
Yeah.
And he died in that house.
Yeah.
And it was very impactful for me because when I was getting into my career, we used to practice at his house. And I
Yeah.
never forgot
Wow.
that. And I was like, wow, it was very, very serious. So we're going to be wrapping this up.
So,
But
Pastor, would you say the name of your church again? Your
Yeah.
name, the church where you're located,
Yes,
and the
yes.
hours of the service?
I just want to thank you for this program
Yes.
that's reaching out to the community. Pastor Wade and Shirley Moody, Senior Pastor of Vida Asamblea de Dios, over in 211 Waldo Street, Metairie, Louisiana. We're just so blessed now being the Louisiana Hispanic Presbyter of the Assemblies of God. It gives me the opportunity to reach out to our community in so many ways, and I'm just thankful that you have invited us to allow us to share a little bit of that time that we went through back in
I
Katrina.
appreciate that you guys came. And I was sitting next to your wife at a function, because I don't like to get into politics,
Yes.
at a political function. And we started talking, and I was like, you know what? I want the pastor and his wife to come on this show.
Yeah,
To
God's
talk.
plan, definitely.
Yeah,
That's
but it
God's
connected
plan.
and they got here, you guys. I mean, she got here first. So, yeah. So I want to thank you all for coming. We are going to be going to the second half of our talk show. And I want to welcome everybody.
To the second
Uh-huh.
part that we'll be coming right into in a second. So let's talk about just prayers. That we need
Yeah.
to pray for people, and it is important that we pray for people wherever they are at any time, and God is there. He came
Right.
there and he was everywhere
He was.
at the same time.